Yo, what up, guys? It's your boy Legendary here. Today, people, I hope you guys are excited because we're going to be doing a top 5 favorite archetypes, and I have a guest on the channel here today. So why don't you introduce yourself, bro?
Hey, I'm LowTier4Life here. I am another Yu-Gi-Oh! Content creator about the same size as Legendary Duels here, and I do a lot of stuff, so we're doing this collab. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, no, it's all good. But yeah, I'm excited about this because I think it was last year that we were gonna do a collab, and then things didn't end up happening. So I'm glad that we finally got to do it this year. You know,
It was actually 2 years ago.
it was 2 years. Wow, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, well, I told you, I found our chat logs on Discord, and they were dated 2018,
That's
around
insane.
October, too.
Yeah, so this is long overdue.
Yeah.
Long overdue, but hey, better late than never. You know how it is.
Yep.
But yeah, so anyway, yeah, we're gonna get started. This is gonna be part 1 of the video where we're gonna go through our top 10. But this video will be numbers 10 through 6, and then on his channel, you guys can go to his channel to watch the second part, which will be numbers 5 through 1 of our favorite archetypes, and we have honorable mentions too. But yeah, so let's get started. Since you're a guest on my channel, why don't you start with your number 10 pick?
Alrighty. Thank you. So for number 10 for me, I'll be honest, a lot of stuff could be number 10 and a lot of stuff could be on this list in general. But for me, number 10 had to be Vendread.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a lot of reasons for it. For one thing, it's got a lot of Resident Evil vibes with it and everything. And it's kind of like they took like Resident Evil and what was that one superhero's name? Spawn. And mixed them together, and it's got a lot of stuff for it that I really like aesthetically. I love the monster design, especially of the rituals. Vendread, Revendread Slayer is so freaking cool, and I honestly kind of wish Konami would make like a video game with him, like Batman Arkham style city.
That would be awesome.
It would be. And it just looks aesthetically pleasing. I love everything about the aesthetic with it. Even the bad cards have great art. To that extent, though, the actual gameplay of the deck too, I really like. I'm a Vendread purist, and I like playing the deck in how it's intended to be. I hated how people were just focusing on how can we make this into Dark Synchro Turbo Part 2, you know, where it was just basically Ciphering Lord Omega spam back in the day and all that. When the idea of the deck is that the rituals have subpar effects, but then the monsters that you use to ritual summon them, give them bonus effects. Heck, if you use the first 2, any of your rituals turns into a double Drident that it banishes once a turn. So that is really, really, really good. And then you got the draw effects and all this other resource. The thing that really holds it back for me is that they really missed the what am I trying to find here? They really missed the chance to make it really, really something special. In that in order to get your bonus effects, you have to tribute the ritual, like non-rituals on the field. So if you ritual summon from hand or use something from graveyard or anywhere else, you don't get that bonus effect. And then a lot of these stuff past the first 2. The first 2 non-ritual Vendreads were the best ones, with the level 4 giving your dude that you use it to summon a quick effect, banish any monster, and then the other one having a quick effect, banish any spell or trap card. Every other one after that, with the exception of like 1 or 2, were just okay.
Right.
And and I just feel like the deck really didn't meet its full potential with that, and I feel like Konami really dropped the ball on that.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, Vendreads are cool. I love the artwork. It looks gorgeous. It really does. All the monsters look so good. I like the way the deck played too and everything. It was just such a cool idea. Unfortunately, you know, has some errors like most decks, but hey, it is what it is. It's still a cool idea, and I create my own archetypes and stuff too. So I just you know I think it's so creative and it looks awesome.
Yeah. You know what the thing that like kills me the most with that deck though? What? It has the most insultingly bad level modulation card in any ritual archetype I've seen. A lot of virtual archetypes, Konami will give them level modulation stuff.
Right.
And Vendreads have the most just disgustingly horrible one I've seen. You got to tribute a bunch of dudes to give your monster like levels equal to number that you tributed.
Yeah.
But like then you don't get anything bonus from it. And then once per turn you can banish a zombie to let your dude attack twice, if I remember right. It's been a while since I've read it, but it's just like compared to like Nekroz, which has just one dude who says, "Hey, I count as full tribute." It's like, what?
Yeah. All right. So number 10 for me is also going to be a ritual archetype. So number 10 for me is going to be the Nekroz archetype. Yeah. So it's funny. All right. So I don't play any competitive really. But when the Nekroz archetype first got revealed, I instantly fell in love with it. Not because of how strong it was, but I love the artwork and the idea of like, you know, them taking like different archetypes and like monsters from different archetypes and like using them as armor and stuff. Like, I just love the idea, and I love the fact that it was a ritual archetype. Ritual archetype is very underrepresented in Yu-Gi-Oh! So I just loved it, and I just love the artwork for everything. And then they ended up being like tier 1 or tier 0 at some point competitively. So I was like, okay, but I couldn't even buy the cards because it was too expensive. So I couldn't enjoy it because I'm like, So that's why it's number 10, because I didn't have any experience playing with the deck yet. But I just love how they look, and I love how strong they are, and that's pretty much it. So a lot of the future archetypes on my list are going to be more anime focused, because that's all I do is watch the anime. So they're going to be more anime themed mostly. But yeah, so that's my number 10 pick. So what's your number 9?
It's a Subterror. Subterror. So one of my favorite games of all time is Shadow of the Colossus, and Subterror is heavily based off of it. All of the behemoths have aesthetics and designs practically ripped straight out of Shadow of the Colossus, especially this one level 9, if I remember right. He looks almost exactly like the flying Colossus Phalanx, and it's just so similar. And then there's also some people who pointed out that it's like super similar to Monster Hunter, and that like you have 4 of the little guys and they're like a hunting party and stuff, which I'm also a stupid huge fan of. And so for that, like, I was just instantly all over it, and it's mainly the aesthetic with it, the idea of the hidden city under the ground and everything. I'm just all over that. The monster design is really great. The deck is fun to play too. I hate what it's become with basically just guru.deck, where it's, hey, I summoned a guru, and then quick effect, book a moon your stuff, and set 5 and all that fun thing. But not counting guru control, the deck is just kind of okay. The Konami really flopped on it as well, which sucks. Like, you'll notice, at least with these first 2, it's aesthetic. Mainly, I love the aesthetic of it. They're just such beautiful card art and everything, and the lore is really interesting too. It has some just awesome. It's so interesting with the playstyle as well, with just the I book a moon everything. I summon another dude. Book a moon itself. Summon another dude. Just really, really fun. But yeah, mainly the aesthetic.
I hear you. Sometimes Yu-Gi-Oh! Has that amazing artwork, and you love it just for that, even if it doesn't end up being as strong. Yeah, and I have a pick like that later on in part 2, but you'll see that later. But for me, all right, for my number 9 is one of probably your favorites, maybe, and that's going to be Crystal Beast. Yeah, so Crystal Beast, I mean, one, it's a cool anime archetype. I just really liked it. I liked watching it in the show, and more importantly, I just liked the idea of it. You know, it was the first time there was ever an archetype that played in that specific way, where, you know, the monsters go into the spell and trap card zone as spell and traps. That was the first time that was ever done, and it was a unique concept. And you know, I like how they turned themselves into gems in the back row, and then the field spell works with that and everything, and just the entire idea is really cool. Obviously, there's a lot of errors in Crystal Beast. You know, they don't do anything in the spell and trap card zone, which sucks. And that's one of their weaknesses, is you block up your back row, and then you kind of can't do anything unless you have the field spell to special summon one, and you know, and then, you know, to unlock that. But so that's, you know, one of their major weaknesses. But other than that, I love I just love the idea of it. Rainbow Dragon and everything, and it's just a really cool deck. It's a very fun deck. I played it a lot. I think I tried to play a little bit competitively, but even just playing the character deck of Jesse Anderson or Johan, I really loved it. I always have fun playing the deck. It's so much fun to play. It really is. And that's pretty much my number 9.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Yeah, Crystal Beasts are on mine. I'm not going to say where it is, but I love Crystal Beasts a lot too. I'll go into a lot about that as well whenever it comes around when I get to talk about them. But for my number 8 for me is something special, and I really wish I could have put it higher, but it's hard for me too, because it's all the others just kind of beat it out a little bit, but this one is something that will always have a special place in my heart, and I think no matter what will always be in my top 10, and that is Gladiator Beast.
Okay,
Gladiator Beast was the deck that got me into taking Yu-Gi-Oh! More seriously. When I first started actually playing the game, I collected the cards as a kid, but whenever I first started actually playing and going to the locals and everything, I was very headstrong about just playing how I wanted and being a stupid kid, and I would also then be the stupid kid complaining about losing all the time. And I remember there was this guy at locals who always played Gladiator Beasts, and they had such a cool play style, attacking, retreating into deck, summoning another dude, usually having some kind of utility thing, and it just was so cool to me. And I was like, okay, this looks like a competitive deck that I can get into. And for the most part, the deck was also cheap at the time, so I was working on a $5 allowance a week, basically. So I traded a whole bunch of stuff, managed to save up for a week or two, and managed to get a Gladiator Beast rough draft put together. Took it to locals, still got destroyed. But then a friend of mine helped me. He sat me down and helped me put together a good Gladiator Beast deck. And I got that deck list memorized. I still remember that deck list almost to a T. And it was my first ever time I ever did well in a tournament. I took it to my first regional, almost topped my first regional with it. It was my first real competitive deck with it. And for that and how it taught me the real aspects of deck building and got me into realizing that, hey, my favorite part of Yu-Gi-Oh! Isn't so much playing, but building all these different decks and trying out what works, what doesn't. Gladiator Beast taught me that, and for that reason, it will always be in my top 10. I some days it's in my top 5, some days it's just in the top 10, but it will always be there. I kind of hate what the decks become nowadays, and that's what helps kind of keep it out of the top 5 at the moment, where with the new support, you can play the deck how it's intended to be, where you can attack, tag out, all that fun stuff, but the good builds, if you want to take them to a tournament and do well, don't tag out. They don't play half the Gladiator Beast that I played learning how to play competitively, and it's all about doing the same thing the other big decks are doing, making a board of 5 negates and calling it a day, and they do it worse than the big meta decks. So I'm like, what's even the point? So it just doesn't feel like Gladiator Beasts playing it like that. And I don't know, I maybe it's just me being a boomer, but I mean, I'm not a boomer, I'm 24, but a Gladiator boomer, I guess. I don't know.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
I never got a chance to play with Glad Beast, but yeah, they were the first really powerful contact fusion deck. Unfortunately, that wasn't Neos, but it is what it is.
Yep.
But yeah, all right, yeah, definitely a cool pick. For me, number 8 would be the Melodious archetype. Another Arc 5, well, not another Arc 5, this is my first Arc 5 one, but yeah, from the Arc 5 anime, watching you use the Melodious, I love the artwork for the Melodious monsters. I like how they play. They're not overly complicated. They're a pretty simple deck to understand. It's pretty much like a fusion fairy deck and this and that, so it's really cool. I love the artwork, and there's some cool locks, if you get I think Aria, Sonata. You got I forgot what the other one was. The I think the level 6 one that makes it so they can't be targeted or something. I forgot what their effect. It's been a while, but like if you get that going and you know you do your fusion, the fusions are pretty okay. Obviously, one of them is really good. The Bloom Diva or whatever, that one's pretty good. But I just wish it got more fusions and hopefully they get more support later on. I really hope so because that would be really good. But it's just a fun deck. I really enjoy the artwork and I loved watching it in the anime. I like the Yuzu and that's pretty much the reason why I like Melodious a lot.
Yeah, dude, Melodious and Lunalight were super close to being in the top 10 for me. I love both decks, especially Melodious. It's just they did Yuzu dirty.
They
like
did.
after
She could have gotten so much more support.
Dude, after like halfway through the show, she didn't get a single duel, and it drove me nuts. Same thing with like Serena with the Lunalights, like, and it's due to that like. I feel like Melodious are just so much lacking compared to the others, like Super Heavy Samurai and Odd Eyes and stuff like that. Yeah. It's a shame. They have one of my favorite like boss monster arts, Bloom Diva. Though she looks so beautiful.
Yeah. Very nice.
Speaking of Arc V archetypes, though, my number 7 is Raidraptor. I love Raidraptor. I can't wait for their new support coming out in Phantom Rage. The idea and playstyle of the deck is so fun to me. Just basically birds of a feather flock together times 2,000. I feel like they do that better than even Blackwing to an extent. And they're just so much fun. They're one of the few archetypes to get rank ups right.
Yes.
And they are just... I love their aesthetic as well. That's a big part of it, especially the original trio of XYZs with Rise Falcon, Blaze Falcon, and Revolution Falcon.
Yeah.
Those three represent the 3 stages of a revolution. Rise representing the initial rising up, Blaze representing the like bombardments and tactical destruction, and then Revolution, of course, being the full-out revolution. I love that theming, and I love how they kind of tried to keep it up with the others, although I don't know where a satellite cannon comes in with that.
It's the future. It's the future.
I guess. But it's just so cool. And also, the anime was a big part of it as well. Arc V was the first anime, Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime that I watched in the sub.
Yeah.
From start to finish. As disappointing as it was by the tail end, I loved almost every moment that Shun was getting to duel in. Good lord, his initial duel where he summons Rise Falcon against the like 3-on-1 was just instantly sold me on building Raidraptors.
Yeah.
Even in my current builds, I play one. Even in my current builds, I play one Rise Falcon, even though everybody tells me not to because he's bad. I'm like, I don't care. I love this bird. He's my favorite. I'm playing one copy of him. The deck just means a lot to me.
yeah. Raidraptors are really cool. One of like a lot of the Arc 5 archetypes just blew me away. A lot of them were so much fun and so cool and interesting and unique. Like I loved a lot of them, and I'm a number 1 fan of rank ups. So when Shun first used that rank up magic that first time against Sora, I lost my mind. And then his whole deck was just rank up. I lost my mind. I couldn't take it. I was done. But yeah. All right. But yeah, Raidraptors are awesome. For me, my number... Wait, that's 7, right? 7?
Yeah, 7.
My number 7 pick is going to be... number 7 and number 6 could be interchangeable. But for number 7, I have Super Heavy Samurais, another Arc 5 deck. So Super Heavy Samurais are a lot of fun. I love the deck because I just love the uniqueness of it. I love the creativity behind the deck, the fact that they could attack in defense position. They became kind of a synchro deck. The fact that they work by not having any spells and traps in the graveyard. You don't run any. It's a full monster card deck. I thought that was unique on top of attacking in defense and everything they do. They have such powerful effects as long as you don't run spells and traps, and then they're trash. But yeah, so I just love it. It's a fun deck. It's pretty fast. Obviously not super competitive, but I don't really care. I'm not complete casual channel anyway. I love using Golgenzika's deck. I thought he was a cool character in the show. I liked his personality, and I just liked his deck and everything. I wish he got to duel even more so later on in the series. But super heavy samurais, just honestly, they're just a very unique archetype, and like I love creativity when you're making archetypes and you try something different and that's never been done, and that's the first time like that. Just the first time that was done, and it was done, in my opinion, very, very well. You know, they're not competitive, but it doesn't have to be. But yeah, so Super Heavy Samurais is number 7 for me.
Dude, I love Super Heavies. They were another very close pick for me for 10. I find them to be one of my favorite decks to kind of just go and chill out with in terms of just playing for fun. So back when Susanoo and like the first good wave of Super Heavy Samurais came out, Shaddols were like top tier at the time, and they Super Heavies, I found a really fun little thing with it that actually caused me to almost top in locals once with it. Susanoo can steal Shaddol Fusion out of the opponent's graveyard, so game 2 you can side in Shaddol monsters, so you can summon Shekinaga on your opponent.
Cool. I didn't even know that. That's awesome.
It was great. Yeah, it's just something funny to keep in mind whenever like you look at the meta, like, oh hey, what can I steal with Susanoo and take it to my advantage with this? So my number 6 is Crystal Beast.
Crystal Beast, all right.
Yeah, so I grew up watching GX. I mean, like I first saw the original series, and you know, that's what got me into it. But I wasn't super into the original series. And like I missed the second half of it after like really pretty much everything after Battle City. But then I got into GX, and GX like attached itself to me. I know people hate GX nowadays, like it's the cool one to hate alongside Zexal, but like it will always mean a lot to me. And same thing with a lot of the archetypes out of there. And Crystal Beast is one of my all-time favorites out of there. It's just so fun, has a unique play style. I really wish they would go and revamp the original 7 just to kind of give them effects in the back row or something. But other than that, like, I mean, you pretty much said everything that I wanted to say about them. They got an interesting play style. They're fun. Jesse was a great character in GX. Rainbow Dragon and his other forms, most notably Rainbow Over Dragon, are 2 of my favorite boss monsters in terms of just pure aesthetic and design. I know people really hate on Rainbow Dragon. I don't get why. He's not as hard to summon as people say he is.
Well, his effect is not good because you can activate it right away.
Yeah, that's stupid. But like he's not as hard to summon as people say.
No.
But and also he's searchable now with Melody of Awakening Dragon. But I don't know. It has a soft spot in my heart for me, and you already explained all the other reasons I had to say.
Yeah.
So,
all right, awesome. Yeah, Crystal Beasts are great. So for me, my number 6 pick is going to be another Arc 5 archetype. You can tell I love a lot of Arc 5 archetypes. So, is going to be Abyss Actors.
Oh, good one.
Yeah, Abyss Actors are so cool. I love the design of the monsters. I loved Salvatore. I was a huge Salvatore fan. I loved his personality. I know he lost all the time. I don't care. I still loved him. He was great. And when he got Abyss Actors, I'm like, that's it. That's the deck for him. That's perfect. That's the
Stop changing decks.
Yeah, he stopped changing decks after that, which was great. That was his deck. You know, every other deck was just kind of testing around, but Abyss Actors was made for him, and he became such a cool entertainment style duelist, and it was just perfect for who he is. Like, he's an amazing entertainer, and that deck just suits him perfectly. I love how they play. I love using his deck. Just everything about it. I loved when he used it against, I think it was against Yugo, the Yugo versus Salvatore duel. That duel was fantastic. I loved it. It looked gorgeous. Like, he actually almost beat him. He actually almost beat him. He was good. He was actually doing great. But yeah, I just love the deck, and it's the only real Pendulum deck that I actually like because it's a full Pendulum deck, and it's a lot of fun. It looks so unique, and it's really the only Pendulum deck I actually ever really fell in love with completely. But yeah, and that's pretty much my my number 6 right there.
Dude, Abyss Actors, I love that deck so much. They in my opinion have the worst like archetypal link monster for a Pendulum deck.
Yeah.
But But like what you were saying about how like Solitary always loses and all that, he is the only character. Well, he's the character who came the closest to beating Zark.
Yeah. He was. That was the funny part, and he got under his skin too.
Yeah, he really annoyed him. That was like one of the best parts too. I was like, you're a coward. How dare you fight me like a man? And just annoying Zark to high hell, and I love that.
He was great. So good. He always knows how to put on a good show, you know?
Yep.
But yeah, man. So that's pretty much numbers 10 through 6 right there. In the next video on his channel, we'll do numbers 5 through 1 for part 2.
Yep.
But yeah, thank you guys for watching. It was a lot of fun doing this. You know, we're just gonna record part 2 right now. But thank you guys for coming through. You got any words to say to my subscribers here?
Thank you guys for checking us out. Hope you guys come over to part 2 on my channel. I'm sure he'll have a link down in the description or in like the comments down below.
Yes.
Thank you all for watching and have a great day.
Yeah, and he has definitely subscribed to him. He has amazing content. He does a lot of character. He reviews a lot of new cards that come out. He also does like deck analysis and stuff like that, character analysis, all that stuff. He sometimes talks about the anime here and there, but he like I've been watching him for a long time, and I think his channel is really cool. He does deck profiles as well, also, and all that. But yeah, just subscribe to him. He's really great. But anyway, guys, see you guys in the next video.
Thank you so much.
See ya.